The duel.
Sound is on. We'll switch over in a minute.
Duel.
My wife actually told me to take the little one, like the little pocket one, like the one rounder, little tiny Nerf gun. You know those deals?
Yeah.
And she's like, "You can hide this one in your pocket and just pull it out.
I
You
have
need a
you
second
off.
shot."
You're good.
That's messed up, man.
You're on.
There we go. There we go.
Last time it was just me and Kenny, so.
It's okay.
I don't want to knock anybody's
So what were you going to
coffee
do with
over.
your little one hitter?
It was my wife's idea. She told me if I needed a second round just to like fit in my pocket and grab a little.
If you
little
both miss,
Derringer,
then
I'm like,
bam.
yeah, I'm like, that's messed up.
That is messed up.
I'm going to Dickinson him. I'm going to be Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson took a bullet.
Oh, you're dueling me?
Yeah, what the
I
hell?
was going to duel Joe.
Oh, all right.
Somebody has to stay on the mic while
All right.
two of us are.
We might need to go
Being
mobile with the
gentlemen.
camera.
Yeah.
All right, you ready, boys?
Well, yeah.
Start it up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
And worshipful brother Ken.
We are here, episode 165. We are doing Masonic Duels, and we're going to be talking about Masonic Duels with pistolas, which is why, Ken, you brought a little something.
I did.
Brought two
We
little
can,
somethings.
we can go into exactly what these are in a little while, but they're Nerf guns, so everybody is aware. We're not actually going to be pointing firearms at each other. And I stole these from my children, and God help me if I break them. One is a Nerf N Strike Elite, and I think the other one is a Nerf Mega something.
Nerf Mega.
The closest I could come
Pretty
to
cool.
pistols.
Hey,
Sure
they work.
it is.
They work. Just
I think if this was ever real and you tried to fire this thing, it'd probably snap your wrist.
Yeah. These are more rifles than pistol, but yeah, we might be doing a little
Hello.
something with those later.
All right, so we're going to start it up. First thing we're going to do, a little bit of housekeeping, and let's start it off with likes. Let's do some likes.
did you guys do any likes? last
we
time?
did just Instagram and we
Yep.
did YouTube.
Okay.
Which I gotta do
So let's see.
Kurt Miller.
I'm going to start back where I believe we left off. We've had quite a few likes on Facebook lately.
Mhm.
I think like 21 in the last month or so.
Not so much on Instagram though.
So I'm going to go
21.
back a little bit further than we may need to, because there's just so freaking many on here. I know we did Jack Farkas, so I'm going to start from there. We've got Dominic D, Lynn Connolly Munns, Stephen John, Right Worshipful Brother Frank Mangiero, Rick Nevling, Kurt Miller, Brett Nix, Michael Gusweller, David Alexander, Alexander Purovich IV, Jai Everlin, Thomas Mott, Stephen Whitaker, Chantrell Gladley, Tony Mick as an MC, Piva Bahrami, John Haraberta, James L. Purvis IV. There's a lot of the fourths out there.
Mhm.
Ernest Kemp, Tom Maravich, and if I mispronounced that, I apologize. Daniel Rodriguez, Craig Ussery, Paul Bradley, Jeremy Griggs, Salman Sheikh, our guest from a few episodes ago, Scott Smith, Bill Powell.
Ah,
What did he like?
Freaking
Unlike us
Discord.
and re-like
Yeah,
us?
you
or
like
something?
this.
Maybe.
Took his ball and went home.
This has to be what do they call the old Irish language?
Oh,
Gaelic.
Gaelic, yeah. So it looks like I'm just gonna read it as it looks. I know they sometimes pronounce things
Do it.
differently.
Do it.
I'm gonna go with Geroid O Flaith Behartag.
Oh my god, that's got to be right. That's got to be 100% accurate. Where are we there? Oh,
I don't
yeah, Gerald.
I think I did all right with
I
that.
don't know. I don't know YouTube.
Yeah.
Judge's ruling.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
Was that a Georgism or was it?
No, it's
No, it's
Gearoid with a little accent over the O.
Geroid?
O with a little accent over
Yep.
the O. FLAITH
All right, so we're gonna go with this. We're just gonna call him Patches O'Houlihan.
Okay,
We're just
Patches
gonna go-
O'Houlihan.
There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Michael Oso Barragan, Christopher Harko, Milan Adamov, Josh Ward, Samuel Robert Master, Oscar Amancio Cordova, Nicholas Vatisse, Jonathan Ramsey, my old Stanford high school and Dolan Middle School pal. Jonathan Ramsey.
Was he one of those that said you had syphilis or something?
No, it's no, he was not. That was the hockey team. That was Dave Moon, who I think still lives in the area. So if anybody knows Dave Moon in the greater Westchester and Suffolk County area, let him know I said hello. Brian Minincelli, Yadawe Edwin Spiff, and last but not least, Nathan Jacobs.
All right.
That's a healthy
That is a good lineup.
list there, and I don't recall reading a lot of these before.
Well, Ken is getting himself settled on YouTube. We have Jeffrey Osborne.
On the wings of love. Not that Jeffrey.
No, not that one.
Creative Minds. Josh Ward. Oscar Tex. It's Texas. Oscar TX 958. Jimmy Kim. Let's see here. Who else we got? Pimp Method.
Okay. I like it.
Ty Heller. And keep going down the list here. The Moose Man 72. That's
Cool.
a badass screen name. I should have went with that. Jersey Cowboy.
Okay. Over on Instagram, we've got, I think we did this one last time, but I'll do it again anyway. Rob Gregonis, RSG Photography, Brian Tomlinson, and David Mace.
Beautiful.
What if that is the real Jeffrey Osborne? That'd be
Maybe it
freaking
is.
awesome.
It could be.
You know the song "On the Wings of
Yes.
Love," right?
I don't know that
Just
he's
forget
our target
me.
demographic.
No.
though.
70s?
Why he could be a he could be a
70s?
Mason?
70s?
He could be.
No, 80s, mid 80s.
Really? Oh. So you were just getting out of college? Or?
Son of a bitch. Mid 80s,
Joe,
middle
read it.
school, middle school to high school, depending on which what you consider mid. Brothers, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire. Good fire. Fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat. Had a little
Little spillage
little-
on
little
Joe's
spillage.
book.
Oh,
Luckily, it's water. So,
oh,
yeah.
my
it's-
brand new gift.
Well, you got a jacket on the book. I haven't seen a plastic jacket on a book in a while. Oh, that's just in shrink
it's
wrap.
just it's
Yeah,
in
it's
shrink
just,
wrap, so it doesn't get damaged by hooligans
By
who spill
hooligans
water
who
on
spill
it.
water.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not even drinking.
All right, so we're gonna do dueling masons. We got another thing, housekeeping. They're gonna keep up on or something. Anything we think of? I mean, we've had like 3 weeks off because of
We talked about the fantasy football thing, didn't we?
hurt. Yes.
About how that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah. How
you
did that
talk
go?
about that. That ended with you as the champion because I made a bonehead move, but the week before.
I am the champion.
You are the champion. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Legitimate.
But we're donating it to a charity. Holiday is controlling that for me, so he's going to be putting it to a charity. I told him anything veterans, so that's where it's going to go.
Okay. You're
I'm
not even
sure
going to
you-
choose. You're just going to delegate.
Yeah, I'm just going to
somebody
delegate.
else. All right.
Champions and masters can delegate.
Yeah.
I had a pretty convincing consolation round win. I think
Yeah.
I put up over 200 points.
You know, I did too. I think I did
You're just
180
rubbing dirt
or
in the
something.
wound now at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
it's no secret.
Mm, I'll take some.
I see what you did.
You see what I did
I
there?
see
Yeah,
what
you know what I
did.
did.
It's shitty, but whatever.
Whatever.
I'm thinking DAV, disabled veterans, disabled American veterans. I'm
Yeah.
down for it. I've gotten drunk at a couple of their bars before, so yeah, I'm wherever you want to go. Great time
And
anyway.
you're slightly disabled.
I'm slightly disabled. Yes,
Get on. Here we go.
we're gonna leave it alone though.
What did I say? What?
I know where you were going with that, but Discord. You want to throw your little shameless plug in here before we get into
Oh,
dueling
yeah. So
Masons?
Discord.
I think it's perfect because I mean, if Discord could duel Masons,
Oh, we would have seen some.
we would
I know.
have a sharp.
There'll be a civil. Yeah.
We'd have a major decline in Patreon membership. So,
God, can you imagine
with
if,
that being said,
like if every time somebody got upset on Discord, there was an actual duel?
Oh
Can
god.
you,
wouldn't
we'd have
be
no
anyone
we'd
left.
have no listeners. We'd have no Discord because they'd all be taking shots at each other. So you could join us on Discord if you subscribe to us on Patreon for
Mhm.
it's now one tier for
One
$5 a month.
Yep.
You will get exclusive access to multiple different Discord channels, including our free chat option, which we just utilized the other day, as well as you will get some exclusive Patreon only content. and the no longer elusive Gold Tone Freemasons podcast pin.
Supply chain came back.
Supply chain came back. We're still got to talk to Rafferty about the shirts. If anybody's interested, let me know, because I'm not going to put her to work and have her make shirts for us if nobody's interested.
What
in
were we
shirts,
thinking about
so-
doing? Go the OG
OG shirt. Yep. Do that. It's going to be, we're going to sell it through the podcast. It's not going to be go to this website and that and all that other crap. It's going to
Maybe
be.
we should make a gangrene shirt. It's like
There
peon.
was one, wasn't there?
Was there a gang? There was an OG shirt.
There
I feel
was-
like you had a design for
For
gangrene.
I
gangrene.
had a design for gangrene
Never
and
went into
then
production.
never went into production.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's get into dueling Masons. What do we think?
Let's jump in on
Have
it.
you guys ever heard of this before?
Yes.
You've heard about dual Masons who have settled their issues with duels. I think we bring it back.
Only the one.
I think we bring it back.
Well, there was Andrew Jackson, right?
Yep.
There's more than that.
But
The
dude,
geese
I know.
were-
Is that what that was?
Yeah, those were
Dude,
geese.
that
I saw a
bugged me
flock.
out. I heard geese. I heard something. It was like, no.
Yeah, it's I think
Okay.
Canadian geese. Hamilton was a Freemason, no?
Yes.
Him and
Sure,
Aaron Burr.
I don't
Aaron
know.
Burr?
I'm not sure. Well, I haven't read
Somebody
this
fact
article.
check that for
Yeah,
us.
no, I, don't
I
think
haven't
he
read
was.
this article yet, so I'm going to read this. It's actually not an article. It's a PDF file, and it was a presentation by Fred O. Wyant, Wyant. So I found this, and I found this extremely interesting. So here we go. As Masons and brethren, we sometimes have our differences. No.
That's not true.
Which at sometimes may result in rather heated discussions. No.
I haven't seen it.
So unlike us.
Yeah.
However, 200 years ago, at the beginning of the 18th century, the gentleman's code of honor that sometimes resulted in dispute, participants resorting to duels to settle their differences. And, well, I think before we continue further, let's describe what a duel is. And I have a little bit of information on that. Of course, I didn't bring up that freaking webpage, but
So it usually starts with somebody taking off a glove and slapping somebody in the face, right? Isn't that how it's usually?
no, I'm
initiated?
specifically talking about
That's what I'm going to do to you.
a duel is an arranged engagement in combat between two people with matched weapons in accordance with agreed upon rules. Duels in this form were chiefly practiced in early modern Europe, with precedence in the medieval code of chivalry, and continued to the modern period, which is the 18th to 19th centuries, among military officers. The most common ways were in the 18th and 17th century were fought with swords, the rapier, and later a small sword. So basically the same damn thing. I think
Yeah. The rapier is like a thin one.
It's like
Yeah. It's almost like a fencing sword.
the
but not
needle.
quite. Yeah.
Gentleman's sword.
If you watch Game of Thrones, the girl had the thing she called the needle. Remember?
I didn't watch it.
Whatever. But it's a real thin sword. I think that's kind of where fencing came from, correct? I would have
Probably
to,
so. I think it's a
probably.
similar type.
derivative of it, right?
Yeah.
And then in the beginning of the late 18th century in England, duels were more commonly fought using pistols. Fencing and pistol duels continued to coexist through the 19th century. The duel was based on a code of honor. Duels were fought not so much to kill the opponent as to gain satisfaction. That is, to restore one's honor by demonstrating a willingness to risk one's life for it. As such a tradition of dueling was originally preserved for the male members of nobility. However, in the modern era, it extended to those in the upper classes generally. On occasion, duels with pistols or swords were fought between women.
That I didn't know. I didn't know there was a precedent for that.
Do you want to? Oh, I can't. I'll get shit thrown across the room. I can't.
It'll reach from there too.
Yeah.
Ow, that hurt. I had to. Legislation against duels go back to the medieval period. Wow, we can get into all this. What I was looking for is just the rules or how it was done.
While you're doing that,
Popular
just a quick little fact check here. Neither Aaron Burr nor Alexander Hamilton were Masons.
Yep.
So
I feel like we looked that up on a prior episode
Probably.
too, and we talked.
We're
about
getting
it.
rules. Got it. Here we
we're
go.
getting old. We don't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't. For sure.
So here are the conditions. and this is how you do it. It's usually a set amount distance, 24 paces, could be 6 paces, could be so whatever whatever the code was, whatever that both participants decided on, 24, whatever. With a pistol, now I just want to be clear.
Well, but whose paces though? Because like your little paces would not equal mine.
Well, that's what I'm going to get into because I believe it was a sword that designated where they stopped
The
and
end
turned.
point. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think swords were stuck into the ground. If I'm correct, I kind of briefly went through this. So
I'll
it's
be
not
quiet.
like you could take
It's not like you're taking your little
kitty steps and turn around real quick and bang.
So if somebody would
Shitty.
go 10 paces, it would be the same person designated. So it'd be 20 paces total or whatever. And
It's
then a
10
sword on either
paces
side.
for whoever
Yeah.
because according to this, they would have a person in the middle with a handkerchief, and he would drop the
Officiating, yeah.
handkerchief, and that's when you would turn and fire. So my assumption is somebody officiated it. It was probably paced out by his steps
Right.
with the 2 swords
Okay.
in the end, and then that's how it's actually supposed to be done. But
Roger that.
the conditions at the choice of the offended party, the choice of the offended party. All right. So Joe called me a midget all the time. I would be the offended
party.
so I get to choose the rules. I get 2 steps. Joe gets 28. No, but just joking aside. So here were the number of conditions. The first to draw blood, in which case the duel would be ended as soon as one man was wounded, even if the wound was minor. So the minute you draw blood, that's it, done. Until one man was so severely wounded, he had to be to be physically unable to continue the duel. My assumption with that is you would just keep going until somebody was seriously wounded.
Oh, so there's variations on the rules.
Yes.
Sometimes it's first blood. Sometimes it's
Right.
So it's up.
So you can't like pull out after we both shoot. You can't pull up like you got a bad hammy. You go, oh, I'm done. Pull over. I pulled the hammy. I'm out.
One thing I just want to just add before I continue on with the rest of these rules. I just want to be clear that the sword is different. Obviously, that would depend on skill and your fencing skill, but pistols back in these times were not accurate
Yeah.
and B, not reliable.
Yeah.
So there were many times that if your flintlock pistol didn't, or your
Yeah, I mean,
pan-
they would misfire
your
or
pan-
something. Yeah.
misfire, or you didn't spark it, you
You're
pull the trigger and
you're
it goes click.
Yep.
And then the other guy's got you dead to rights. So the other thing is they were not accurate.
No, these were-
Pistols, muskets, none of them were accurate. I mean, you could be from here across the room, take a shot, aim for the chest, and hit him in the friggin' leg because, again, it was ball rounds. They weren't.
Right. So like
There's
think of
no-
it like if there was a certain
Right.
spin on it, like
Yeah.
it's like throwing a curveball.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would
Smooth
just
bore.
cut through the air. Yeah.
And what were you going to say, Ken?
Smooth bore is what they were. So it would generally be a ball down
Yep.
the smooth. There's no
Oh, yeah, no
lands and
rifling
grooves,
or
and
anything, yeah.
therefore it doesn't spin. A lot like these Nerf pistols we have.
And truth be told, I would much rather get hit with a modern bullet than a ball
Oh, yeah,
because
those things
the
cripple.
Oh,
balls,
God, yeah.
again, the velocity they came out would actually smush down to the size of a $50.
Oh yeah, no, they
And-
were no joke. Because lead is soft, and
Yep.
as soon as it hit you, it would
Yeah.
just mushroom
Yep.
and just tear through. That's why you'd hope that he'd like wing you or something.
Right.
No.
So the next condition was to the death or à la trance. À la trance. I think so. That's what they says here. In which case would be no satisfaction until one party was mortally wounded. You would have to piss somebody off pretty bad to like.
Go do to death.
Mm.
To the death, yeah.
To the death, yeah.
I'm just saying, like if me and you were in a duel and I like broke the skin in the back of your head, like, dude, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Well, that's why I think the first
Lay it
blood,
down.
I think the first blood option is a good option. It's like, hey, all right, I
Right.
got you. Now we're done.
In the case of pistol duels, each party would fire one shot. If neither man was hit and the challenger stated he was satisfied, the duel would be declared over. So the offended party would be like, you know what? I'm good. Got what I can.
We both got through this. All right,
Right.
I proved my point.
If the challenger was not satisfied, a pistol duel can continue until one man was wounded or killed. But to have more than 3 exchanges of fire was considered barbaric, and on the rare occasion that no hits were achieved, somewhat ridiculous. I think it's funny that the one with the number 3. Anybody else
Yeah.
pick up on that?
Well, I mean, I think that was probably typical of most like gentlemen's
But why
high
is it always
society
three?
rules.
Three. It's always three. Everything's in freaking threes.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, George.
It's like poetry.
Yeah.
Has a rhythm.
Under the latter conditions, one or both parties could intentionally miss in order to fulfill the conditions of the duel without loss of either life or honor. However, doing so, known as deloping, could imply that one's opponent was not worth shooting. Okay. So it's like, you know what?
It's even more
You
insulting.
ain't worth the lead that's going to take to melt.
But they'd have to both agree to it,
Shit.
no?
No.
Or is that like after
No,
one
it says
person?
one or both parties.
Gotcha. So you could shoot at me and miss, and I just shoot in the ground.
Well, what they're saying is it's intentionally missing. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be shitty though to have like the conversation, be like, all right, man, we're both gonna miss, you know, and then you fire your gun in the air and wing it past them. You're like, all right, man, you do it, and then hit him.
I don't know
nuts.
because passions fly, and sometimes you get yourself into a situation, and by the time you realize it,
Shit.
it's kind of like, oh man, we really got to do this. Like we really have to do this now. Hey, come on, I'll miss if you miss.
Could you just hear me?
Yeah.
Could you hear me like Joe Pesci in what was that, the first Home Alone, when he was going to hit him with the crowbar? It's like, Marv.
Also, it's about honor,
Joe,
right? Like,
Joe.
like you mentioned, this is all about honor. So at that point, like to keep so that everybody can save face, you go through with it, even if you don't mean it, even if both parties don't mean it. So you throw the fight.
Right. However,
Yeah, because both of you walking away from it saying, "Nah, never mind, we're not going to do this."
It's
Then
still good.
you're
right?
bringing. Well, if you were to just call it off completely, then you're kind of
then
dishonoring both
right.
of you. So you have to
Then
actually
you look
go
at the
through
list.
the event, but make it more of an exhibition.
listen to this though. This practice occurred despite being expressly banned by the Code Duello in 1777. Rule 12 stated, "No dumb shooting or firing in the air is admissible in any case. Children's play must be dishonorable on one side or the other, and is accordingly prohibited." So they actually banned it. So here we go, the pistol duel, and then we'll get back into this article here. But for a pistol duel, the two would typically start at a pre-agreed length of ground, which would be measured out by the seconds and marked often with swords struck in the ground. That's where I read. And at a given signal, often the dropping of a handkerchief, the principals could advance and fire at will. This latter system reduced the possibility of cheating. I mean, is there such thing if you're cheating, fighting for your life? Is there?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
if
all about
you
honor,
turn around, if you're like, all right, I'm going to count to 10, and on 3 you freaking fire, yeah, and then you kill me, you're like, oh my bad, I cheated. As you lay dying. Yeah, that would not be honorable.
You've dishonored your family.
So anyway, this latter system reduced the possibility of cheating, and neither principal had to trust the other not to turn too soon. Another system involved alternate shots being taken, beginning with the challenged first. So I'm pissed off at you, right?
Yep.
We're in a disagreement. Let's go duel. I choose the rules, but you get first shot.
And then if I wing you,
If you
and
win
you're
me,
still there, and you're like, oh, you SOB, I got you now. You should have killed me when you had the chance. Now it's my
I wonder
turn.
how many people decided to just quickly duck out real quick and pull some Neo Matrix.
Yeah, what
shit.
happens if you do that? What happens if you
I don't
duck?
know. Like,
Yeah.
You get a second round. I mean, anyway, so that's what I got on that. So now that we understand what dueling is, we'll continue into this. We Masons today have a different code, but sometimes our disputes between brothers seem to have as little reason as those resulting in deadly duels did then. A duel by one who has assumed the obligations of fraternity is difficult to understand. Yeah, a little bit. Yet not only did Masons engage in duels, they sometimes challenged and fought those bound to them by the close ties of the fraternity. Indeed, it was often the intellectuals, more than any other class, who conducted such fairs of honor. Some things have indeed changed during the ensuing years. We're going to get into some examples here of things that happened. Pretty wild. In the year 1812, a challenge to a duel passed between two Master Masons in Kentucky. The challenge being borne by the third Master Mason. So basically, there's two Masons in Kentucky were challenged to a duel with this one Mason. The bearer of the challenge was tried by his local lodge and was suspended for 1 year for a violation of the Masonic covenant, as it appeared he had made no attempt to reconcile the duelists' differences. So what they're basically saying is before he dueled, he should have tried reconciling it without dueling.
Because it's anti-Masonic to just kind of
Right.
Correct.
take up arms.
Between
against your
whom
brother.
no contention shall exist.
Yeah.
He appealed the suspension to the Grand Lodge of Kentucky, where he found an elaborate report by a special committee. The sentence of his lodge was set aside. Interesting. Notwithstanding this action, the brother was called before the Grand Lodge to receive censure from the Grand Master on the impropriety of his conduct. The committee admitted that it was entirely improper for Master Masons to challenge or convey a challenge to a Master Mason, citing the principle that brothers should live together in harmony. They added that it was their belief that the brother thought he was acting properly. So basically saying, I didn't realize I couldn't challenge somebody to a duel.
Yeah. It was acceptable in society at the time.
But not within
Right.
Freemason.
Yep.
The course pursued by Masons heretofore in similar cases, without incurring censure of the animadversion, yeah, we'll go with that, goes far to extenuate the offense. 4 years later, the Grand Master who presided on this occasion, emboldened perhaps by his decision, was himself in a duel
No.
with another Mason, a past master of a lodge in his hometown. Both participants were called before the Grand Lodge in 1818 to answer for having engaged in a duel. Both parties responded, and after deciding it had jurisdiction, a well-known member, statesman, and orator, Henry Clay, presented a resolution for the committee to attempt to effect a reconciliation of the adversary. So Henry Clay tried brokering basically to let's not do this and come to a different conclusion.
Yeah.
He and another member were appointed to the committee and speedily reported back that they had been successful and the matter had been resolved. However, this did not end the discussion, as another member of Grand Lodge presented a resolution to expel both participants from the fraternity. This motion was subsequently tabled, and the following day, Henry Clay presented a substitute resolution deploring the idea of dueling and noting that the brothers involved had been perfectly reconciled. It then concluded that the said brother should be suspended for the privileges of Masonry during pleasure of this Grand Lodge. The resolution was adopted. 10 years later, a Master Mason was restored to Masonic standing by the Grand Lodge. The other participant had died some time previously. So what basically happened is while this Grand Lodge, these officers were in their chairs, these brothers were expelled until, so clearly they had 10-year terms, because it says 10 years later the Master Mason was restored. Wow, 10 years. God bless them.
It was like a do as I say, not as I do type thing. The Grand Master decided that he could.
Aaron Stowen, welcome, enjoy.
Yeah, from Black River Lodge number 74.
Welcome, brother.
Wisconsin is. Did you say this duel happened in Wisconsin?
Kentucky.
Same thing.
Come on, it's Kentucky. Of
Same
course, it
thing.
happened in Kentucky.
Same thing.
We might note here that Henry Clay himself engaged in a duel with Humphrey Marshall in 1808. So the same Mason who's brokering and trying to say we shouldn't be dueling wasn't a duel.
Yeah, so did the Grand Master.
Now, I wonder how that works. Okay, so we're talking about Masons on Masons here. I'm curious, and hopefully I can read it. I'm curious how that would have worked between a Mason and a non-Mason. Because again, I mean, I understand that our ritual and our tenets and our constitutions and all that are completely different than what they were back then.
Right.
But I mean, basically now we are to be a benefit to mankind and our fellow citizens and whatever have you not. But back then, I don't know.
What if
don't
you
know.
get challenged to a duel? You're a Mason,
Right.
right? And
We have honor.
non-Mason challenges you to a duel. What do you do?
I think the council
Show
would
up at
like
the lodge
me-
and beat the tar out of them. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I think the council would still be to try to reconcile and
Yeah.
avoid it if at all possible.
Right.
But there are some things that you just can't avoid.
So let's get into an actual duel battle. In Indiana, the first Mason raised in that jurisdiction and the first to receive Masonic burial was the victim of a duel. Parmenius Bex was the innkeeper, popular, and one-time sheriff of his county. He had fought in the Battle of Tippecanoe
Yep, Tippecanoe.
and met his death at the hands of Dr. Scholl. Just sounds like a douche.
No, that sounds like a Bond villain.
Schull. Dr. Scholl, right? Sounds like the guy in the House of Wax, right? Anyway, the trivial cause was a statement by Scholl concerning Beckett's stepdaughter.
Talk about the family, man.
If she was as good as she is pretty, she would be a jewel. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see why he was angry.
I mean, if I'm at the bar and I heard that, I'm like, Bex issued a challenge, and the duel took place near Vincennes,
Go with it.
Yeah. Illinois.
Let's go.
At the first shot, Bex missed. I mean, your daughter, the dude's like, I don't know, being a creeper to your daughter, and you miss.
Well, I mean, not intentionally, I would imagine.
I mean, you didn't practice. You didn't decide maybe I'll take a couple practice shots, man.
What year was this?
Uh,
Is there any reference to it?
I'm gonna. Hopefully, it's in
I'm
here.
just trying to like suss out what type of firearms they were using. I mean,
And I'm
Yeah.
also trying to think
you
like
said, it's easy to miss.
for how long between when the challenge is thrown down to when the duel occurs? Is it like, okay, I'm challenging you tomorrow at high noon, we go out and
Yeah.
we're on?
Wait.
Or
Listen
is
to
there
that.
like,
Or do we have time for a Rocky montage?
right?
training
Or is it
montage?
like a George and Danny Collins boxing match that's a year in the making?
Yeah,
Kurt Miller?
exactly.
Were these duels common? Can't say I heard, but yes, back in those days they were very common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. Let's see here.
Or
So
maybe
listen to
the
this.
Schultzes, yeah, the
Yeah,
Schultzes,
I've read the Schultzes. Bex issued a challenge in the duel play. Moving on. At first shot, Bex missed, and Scholl, said to be reluctant to fight, fired into the air.
Oh.
Okay, so he was doing the nice guy thing. Listen,
So,
boom. I screwed up. I shouldn't have said that shit. I'm not going to kill you.
right. You
Okay.
challenged me. We're good. Let's move on.
A reconciliation was sought, but Bex refused.
Oh, he said,
See,
let's
I
go
mean,
again.
Sometimes
He
you
had
just
his
gotta.
chance.
Sometimes if you make that money at the casino table, you just gotta
walk
pack
away.
your
Just
shit
walk
and
away.
leave. You gotta collect your chips and walk away.
Take it as a sign.
And we know we already said how this ended for him.
But
Yeah.
but this could you? Okay, no. If I was the guy, right? Boom, he shoots in the air, and you're like, "Whew, it's over. Thank God." He's like, no, not good enough. Oh, what the?
Yeah.
F-
Also, that bullet's got to come down at some point. He probably should have
and
just
he
shot
goes
it.
home
Yeah.
to his stepdaughter and goes, I tried.
Or Scholl kicked in the door and be like, "Hey, baby, come with me." Totally getting something thrown at me at some point.
Yep.
The distance was 10 paces, and the second time, both participants fired together. Yeah, I mean, not for nothing though. You know, I was
So
kind of
you missed
shitting
the
on
first time. You moved the goalpost in a little bit.
Yeah, that's
No.
what I'm saying. Like, you
So
know,
it was an accuracy then.
so this time Scholl actually fired at him, and not gonna lie, can't say I wouldn't too.
Right. I gave you an out.
I gave
now
you an
you
out.
want him now.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Second rule. So would that be second rule?
No, I think it's number one.
Yeah, that's.
Don't be an a-hole.
Don't be an out.
Like I gave you an out.
Yeah.
Now you're being an a-hole. Want to push it. So now I'm going to shoot at you.
Right. Bex was hit in the right side and died. Scholl was again unwounded. Oh my God. This guy, holy
This Bex
shit.
guy, like, did he know he was a bad shot? Like,
Mm.
or that'd be like, had he ever fired a gun before?
Yeah, or he fires the gun and he's like, no, load it again. I got it.
He's an innkeeper. You would think in that profession he
Right.
would have more opportunity to, you know,
So
train on firearms than the doctor, but whatever.
it is kind of ironic though. Talk about fate right there and karma.
Yeah.
Instant karma.
Well, but you know what? I can't I can't say I blame the show guy.
God's up there smoking a cigarette, and he's like, "This fucking guy." All right, let's get it.
Because, but let's equate it into a non-lethal thing. Let's say it's a fight. Guy comes at you. He comes wild. You trip him or you throw him on the ground, and you're on top of him. And you're like, "Are we good? We're gonna let this go?"
Yep.
And he says, "Yeah, okay, we're good." And then you get up, and he's like, "Nope, let's go."
Yeah, throw sand in your
suckers.
face.
And you're like,
and
"Dude,
all that.
now I have to.
Now I have to.
Now
be
I
this silly.
have to do this."
Yep.
All right.
That's where you pull out the old. This is gonna hurt me more. It's gonna hurt you. I gave you your chance.
Scholl was unwounded, and he arranged his affairs, and he left the country. So this guy's like, "Yeah, I'm not dealing with this shit no more. I'm getting the hell out of here."
Yeah, this is how these barbarians are going to just shoot at me, and every time.
I don't have a story. I don't have a year on this, so my assumption.
My guess is it's 18th century still.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, what's it say? 2012? No,
What?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
The first recorded duel of the west of the Mississippi was between Dr. Bernard and Farrar and James A. Graham. Oh, Christ. This is three of them. Farrar was a Freemason and the first American physician in the vicinity of St. Louis. I think that's kind of funny that he's going to be involved in a duel and he's a physician. Like,
well, Dr. Scholl.
kind of know.
Maybe
what-
he could treat himself.
Yeah.
Kind of know what bullets do. I think I might stay the hell away from though. Anyway, Farrar was a Freemason and the first American physician in the vicinity of St. Louis. He was at first merely a bearer for the challenge. I wonder what that means.
Like a messenger, like
A bearer. Would that be maybe like the referee, if you would say? The bearer of the
or
challenge?
like the messenger between the two parties,
unless
or
they mean
something.
bearer of
Kind
the
of like
challenge.
bearer of bad news.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like maybe that means that the challenge was against him or something.
Oh, no. I think Ken's right. He's the bearer of bad news because it says he was the bearer of the challenge, but Graham refused to accept it in the grounds that the issuer was not a gentleman. So,
okay, cool. So how did he get involved then?
oh, and I'm sorry, this is only between two people, Bernard G. Farrar and James A. Graham.
Right.
So what they're basically saying is that Farrar brought the "I want to duel you," and Graham was like, "I'm not going to duel you because you're a piece of
You're
shit.
trash. I'm not.
Yeah.
You're not
You're a
worth.
trash
You're
man.
not
I
worth
got
the
nothing
lead.
for you." By the code of the day, Farrar then became a principal. The duel was fought on Bloody Island. Oh Christ! I mean, that's what you chose. That's what you chose.
Bad choice. Bad choice.
It's like going to the. That's like I'm just going to carry this rope in the forest. In what is that? Japan, the suicide forest.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to bring this rope into the woods, and I'll be
I
fine.
don't know. I mean, they probably thought it was pretty metal back in the day to like duel on Blood Island. They probably all did it in that. area.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were just being like British and like we're gonna go do it on the Bloody Island.
True. It was in the Mississippi River, so it was an island inside the Mississippi River. A later scene of many duels. Well, there you go.
Yep. That's
Graham was severely wounded and never fully recovered, dying a year later on a trip east. Oh,
See, that's the thing about like you were talking before about
Yeah.
these lead balls. Like sometimes they'd get you, and it was just slow, agonizing.
well, it's also lead poisoning.
well, yeah, but I mean,
It gets in your bloodstream. You're freaking done.
it's just, but yeah, it's like slow and agonizing. It's not like headshot done.
Yeah, and you're like shattering bones and stuff if you get hit in the midsection with one of those things, and it's like they didn't do a very good job like stitching bone back together.
No,
like,
no.
letting it heal properly.
No,
I
they
mean,
would
look
just
at the
chop it
the
off.
Civil War. They were just lop it off.
That's
Yep.
exactly.
And realistic, if you got hit in the chest, I mean, you were dealing with not only having a
Yeah.
bullet in your chest and maybe it didn't punch all the way through.
Right.
And
but
now you
got
have a
internal
lead ball.
bleeding. Yeah.
You got a lead ball in your chest, and on top of that, your ribs are never going to heal the same way because bullets shatter bone. They don't break it. But he later died, and his estate was administered by Robert Wash, a member of Missouri Lodge Number 1. Okay, so
Did the guy that killed him get all of his stuff?
yeah, he looks like he got away scot-free. So my assumption is it was a turn and fire, and Farrar was just quicker to the shot. So in 1816, apologies. In 1816, Captain Henry S. Geyer and George Hancock Kernley had a trifling misunderstanding.
Sounds like Discord. A lot of trifling misunderstandings on Discord.
The code was invoked and another duel was fought on Bloody Island. We got to go there.
Yeah, seriously.
Can we actually? Are we allowed on this one?
I don't know.
I don't
know. But if we go, I'm going with a metal detector.
Seems unlikely that it would be a bird sanctuary or something.
Could you imagine, like, Joe, there's a lead ball. Take it up.
Do we
And
know?
pull up a body?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like somebody who was on Bloody Island that just, was shot in a duel.
Chester
Just
Copperpot?
left. Just left there.
Chester Copperpot.
Yeah.
No.
No? Cobblepot.
Goonies.
Goonies, right.
Oh yeah.
Where did I leave off? Oh, here. At second firing, both having missed the first time. Jesus Christ. I mean, you'd think, like, I'm sorry, but if we both fire the first time, we both miss, I'm good.
Yeah. No, I would pretty much.
Like, all right, we got this out.
We
of
got
our
this
system.
good.
Let's
I
grab a
feel
beer.
better
Let's
now.
grab a beer.
Yep.
Then he missed the first time. Kernley was wounded in the knee. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jesus. He was crippled for some years but survived.
Mhm.
Subsequently, he and Geiger became fast friends and delighted in recounting together their youthful follies. Geiger.
Remember that time
Like
we were
shooting each
hey,
other.
remember that time we got crap faced and we were drinking and you said something about my wife and we dueled and you shot me in the knee. Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
best.
that was fun.
Good time.
Oh, shit.
He crippled me for 3 years. Yeah, that was good stuff.
I've never been the same since. Look, now I got a trick knee.
Oh, God, that's funny.
That is funny, but I could see Masons doing it.
Yeah.
I could absolutely. Remember that time?
Oh, I'm trying to find my spot, but could you I know you ate my freaking ice cream. Remember that time we were arguing?
I challenged you to a duel.
We both got dates, and I was looking for my ice cream, and you told me you didn't eat it, and then you came back and said, "I did eat your ice cream. I did eat your fucking ice cream." So we dueled. I shot you in the knee, and now you got to walk off. Anyway,
Let's go get some ice cream.
Geyer is known to have been a member of the fraternity. All right.
Mhm.
This is a funny ass topic. I'm actually getting kind of
That one was
laugh.
that was a good one. With that, years later they became friends and
Right.
would laugh about it. They're follies. I like how they referred to it as follies. They're
Yeah.
shooting freaking guns
Yeah,
at
that's
each
no
other.
big deal. Yeah,
It's folly.
it's a folly. Yeah, I knocked the shit off the counter. It's a folly, right?
Sounds like something we
Took
would
a bullet in the
probably
knee. Well, it's a folly.
The Freemasons follies. We could put on like a variety show.
do. Yeah.
One of the better known duelists was Senator Thomas Hart Benton, a member of Missouri Lodge Number 1. They got a lot of issues in Missouri with this freaking lodge.
Apparently so.
Well, I think the
They're just a
gentleman that
bunch of
wrote
gunslingers.
wasn't the brother that wrote the article from.
I don't know. It's just I just have a name. I don't know where he's from.
Rob Fowler. What the hell is
Felt
going
like it
on?
was.
Rob
He's
Fowler.
Missouri, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Agent 47. He's got to do some investigation, man.
Yes. You're on it. Get on the case.
My question is, though, do you think all these guys wore a pink shirt and flip flops? Never mind.
Where
I'll
do
let
you
that
get the-
sink. You guys can figure it out for yourselves later. A member of Missouri Lodge Number 1. While at Nashville, Tennessee, as lieutenant colonel in the 39th Infantry, he became embroiled with Andrew Jackson.
Oh, here we
Whoops.
go.
shit.
You don't want to do that.
We're gonna do a full episode on Andrew Jackson. We haven't really, we've dabbled with Andrew Jackson, I think, but we've never really gotten into how absolutely bad this guy
He is
was.
not a good man.
No.
Can we just agree he is not a good man?
For anybody watching on YouTube, did anybody get a reference to my Missouri guy in a pink polo with
No.
no? Well, hopefully somebody on YouTube will know exactly
Yeah.
what I'm talking
They're a
about.
lot smarter than we are.
Let's see here. So he got embroiled with Andrew Jackson, later president, in a well-publicized altercation where several pistols were fired by a number of participants. Oh, shit.
Hmm.
Some shots were at such close range as to result in powder burns on clothing. General Jackson was injured but recovered. I think I've heard of this one before, but I'm not 100% sure. One of Jackson's friends drew a knife and slashed Benton 5 times.
What the hell?
Jeez, it sounds more like a
Sounds like
gang
a gang-
fight
yes.
than a duel. Several members? Yeah, no, it's just called a war.
No one was killed, but it must have been quite an affair, as Benton wrote it. Later, he and Jackson became friends, and as United States Senator, Benton was a close supporter of President Jackson. I mean, we piss and moan about our own little peaks and quarrels, but I mean,
yeah, that's one way to gain.
Could be worse. I mean, you could shoot at each other and then later become drinking buddies. I mean,
at least they ended up friends.
It was normal back then, though.
Yes, George, we got it. You're not as clever as you think. And Delvini gave the thumbs up, the pointing up, said this. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Well, I have to be pretty clever because these two idiots still haven't got it.
I have no idea what you're talking
about. Or it's
just
just
some pop culture reference that I'm not privy to.
Nope. The one dark spot in Senator Benton's life was his duel with Charles Lucas, cousin of George. Benton did not issue the challenge, but it was said that nothing, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it's not
George Lucas. Yeah, we got.
Okay.
That one we got.
But it was said that his overbearing way brought on trouble. Lucas stated in a writing prior to the duel that that cause was his asking Benton if he had paid the toll tax in time to enable him to vote. Okay, so what the hell's a toll tax?
I don't know, probably like some random transportation related tax from back then. But apparently you had to pay off all of your tax debt in order to vote at that time.
So if you were back,
I like it.
Vote.
Yep. Yeah. So if you were back on your taxes, you couldn't.
All right.
That sounds like
it's okay.
I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
Benton then applied abusive and ungentlemanly language. That's what it says. He then applied abusive and ungentlemanly language to Lucas.
I've never heard it described that way. Applied.
We're going to have to do that from now on. When it says explicit, like on our episodes,
ungentlemanly
I'm going to change it to it says abusive and ungentlemanly language.
Yeah.
The
little letter code will pop up in the corner, the A and the A and a UGL.
Yeah.
Or UL.
To Lucas, the challenge was issued. At first meeting, both participants. Wait a minute. Let's see.
Oh my God! Freaking Greg Schultz just woke up. What are the rules of a duel? Weapons, paces, rules. We covered that in the beginning. Wake up, old man.
Let's see here. At first meeting, both participants were wounded. Lucas in the neck and Benton below the knee. Excuse me. Lucas was too hurt to continue and stated that he was satisfied. So Lucas got popped in the neck. Yeah, I think you're good. Like, I'm good. I'm satisfied.
We're done now.
The other got popped in the knee. So, yeah. So Benton, however, demanded they meet again. 10 days later, they did. And this time, Lucas was killed. Yeah, he got shot in the neck. I'm pretty freaking sure he's at a major disadvantage.
Sounds like Benton was a good shot. He's like, no, I'm going to press my luck. No whammies. Boom.
Not like doubling down, right? He was only 25 years old and left a young family.
Brutal.
The sympathy of the community was with his family, and his father remained a bitter enemy of Benton until his death. In later years, Benton lobbied against dueling, but by the time he died, the custom had ceased throughout the United States. That's some shit. So this guy's clearly, because it says right here in the beginning of this article, he was one of the better known duelists. So he killed probably a lot of people in duels for being a crack shot. And then one day he's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Drugs are bad."
Right. Well, but
like, so you're George Young, and then you're like, "Yeah, no, we need to outlaw drugs."
If you're going to be an a-hole and constantly be challenged, you might as well get really good at it, and then you could be the biggest a-hole you want. You're like, yeah, okay, duel. Pff, I win again. Whatever.
Yep. And then your notoriety allows you to do things like lobby against the practice. Maybe he didn't enjoy killing all the
But here's
cold blood.
One lesson to take away from this, boys and girls, is that if you were to follow Brother Josephus's 2 rules of civility, you'd likely avoid situations where you find yourself in a duel.
Oh,
yeah. Greg's getting pounded right now.
I still love you, Greg.
We all love him. I mean,
let's see.
We love him like we love our grandfather.
He's going to challenge you, man.
All right. So we're going to get through this last little bit here.
He can challenge me in a
Another-
race.
Another
Foot
problem.
race.
Another prominent Masonic duelist was Andrew Buckner, first master of Unity Lodge number 6 of Jackson, Missouri. Again, freaking Missouri.
Okay.
But at the time of the duel, he was Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Indiana. In fact, he was the first Grand Master of Indiana, subsequently removing to Missouri. He was later a United States Senator from that. This is why our government's so screwed up, because all their freaking ancestors were just popping each other in duels, and getting lead poisoning.
Doctors too.
Yeah, and doctors.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
society. It's a status kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think your lower level people probably engaging in a good old fashioned Rochambeau type challenge. But no, these guys have their
Get your
fancy-
freaking beat.
These guys have their duels because they're honorable people.
It appears the duel came about because one of the duelists assaulted the other. Oh, so this started off as an ass beating. The subsequent duel apparently resulted in no damage to either participant. Buckner died a natural death in Missouri in 1833. A committee was appointed by Vincennes Lodge number 1 to investigate, and a report was issued. No action was ever taken. No action was ever taken on the report of the committee, perhaps because Buckner was moving shortly to Missouri. Okay, so we have Grand Masters taking pop shots at one another too. Shadrach Bond. Oh, that's a name.
Shadrach.
Bond.
Okay.
Shadrach Bond.
Shadrach Bond.
The governor-elect of Illinois was challenged to a duel by Rice Jones. Oh, that sounds like a boxer. He's already done.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my money on Jones.
Rice Jones is
Where's
winning.
my wallet? I'm putting money on Rice Jones right now. Going in at 287 pounds. Rice Jones. All right. Enough of that. They met and Jones' pistol. Oh, don't you hate when this happens? They met and Jones's pistol prematurely fired.
Oh, happens to everybody.
It having a
it
hair
does.
trigger.
Happens to everybody.
Sometimes it's just because you're
Yeah.
tired.
Sometimes it's just tired. Maybe you had a
Drank-
little bit to drink.
Drank a little bit too much. It's okay.
It happens.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh,
I
shit.
thought we're the only ones laughing at it.
I know.
You notice nobody else is. That's okay.
Oh. Bond was then entitled to a free shot at Jones, but refused, thus ending the duel. Oh.
Okay.
However, Bond's second, one Dunlap, became embroiled in an argument with Jones and later killed Jones on the street of Kashkia? Yeah, we'll go with that.
Cascadia.
No, Kashkia. I'll show you it afterward.
All
It's-
right.
The streets have messed up names.
Dunlap escaped to Texas, where he was never apprehended. He was thought to be a doctor, formerly a member
freaking
of
doctor.
formerly a member of St. Paul's Lodge number 54 of New York, and a member of Western Star Lodge number 107, Louisiana, Missouri, which expelled him in 1813. Bond later became the first Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Illinois. Holy shit.
Guess he showed them.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Yep.
So I lost my money. Jones took her shit. First off, he had a
Well, he did all right in the the first one was ended a little
Just
prematurely.
needed to get
but,
some Colt Enzyte and he would have been fine. But
there's it happens. It happens. Poor Race Joe.
yeah, not all duels ended badly. The Honorable Hamilton H. Gamble, later to be the governor of Missouri and Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Missouri, was slated to be a second in a duel between a young man named French and another whose name got lost to record. The party rode horseback to the town of Louisiana, Missouri, near where the duel was to be held. Wearied with the trip, they stopped at an old hostelry.
Like a hostel.
Hostel, okay. And sought rejuvenation in that elixir that either makes friends or enemies of those who touch glasses.
And I bet there were some
Scotch.
what was it? Lively ladies of cheerful
Lively
disposition.
ladies.
Yes, and they were using what was it? Abusive and ungentlemanly language at the same
I'm
time.
sure. I'm sure.
Just sitting in the car, this fucking guy. Like,
There was
I
whiskey
picture them
involved.
all with Italian accents, though. You know what I'm talking about? Look at this guy. Look at him.
Yeah,
Look at him
I
over
don't
there.
think that's
Look at him
happening
over
in
there.
Missouri.
Yeah, no, that's generally not the.
That's how I imagine it.
I know.
Right? Don't crush my
Yeah.
dreams.
I'm just saying.
They stood elbow to elbow and man to man as the glasses clicked together. And as their hearts warmed, their hands clasped in friendship, and the duel was indefinitely postponed.
Sounds like the tone of this article has changed somewhat.
Yeah. And the chapter concludes, verily, all is well that ends well. And that's the end of the article. Freaking awesome read, though.
Yeah, that's
Presented by Fred Owen.
It's kind of like when, almost like the end of Rocky 3 after Apollo helps him out with Clubber. And then Apollo's like, yeah, come on. Just you and me. No audience, no nothing. Ding, ding. Let's fight. And we never really did fight.
Ding.
Yeah.
And you never.
And then we never really know. We know he walks into the house with his head all busted up.
No, later Rocky movies, they talk about it. Oh, I think it was Rocky 2 or no, excuse
That
me,
was in
Creed.
Maybe they talk about it in Creed.
Creed movies. He mentions it.
So who won?
I don't remember.
I'll have to
I
go
can't
back
remember
and
if he actually told him or I don't remember. Well, but that was in one of the Creed movies. You can find that out.
Good movies, by the way. Especially the second one when he was going up against Drago's kid. That was good.
Yeah.
So
So
I got Hearts on Fire stuck
I
in my
didn't
head.
see that. One where he fights Drago's kid.
Yeah, in Creed 2.
Really?
Apollo Creed's son fights Drago's son.
All right.
so what do we
check
think,
that
brothers? Bring back the dueling?
Yes.
Settle lodge disputes?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's do it.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
We should
Interesting topic.
Ken and I can have one and you could film it and put it on Patreon as a Patreon exclusive.
We most certainly can.
Where you might stand on the opposite side, I'll stand over here. You
Yeah.
No, in the lodge room.
It might be inappropriate. What are we fighting over anyway? We have to, if we're going to duel, we have to duel for cause. Otherwise, it's just kind of.
You didn't pick my card on cards.
Well, who's challenging who? Ken
that
showed up
has
with the gun,
happened.
so he would be the challenger.
Yeah.
So if he's
So
the challenger, he sets the rules.
he
when you get
has
first shot.
Yeah.
or we could set the rules and simultaneously turn and fire.
I think we do this with paintballs. We hold off on the Nerf guns. We get paintballs.
Oh, okay.
This way we can mark
No,
our
somebody's
shots.
gonna lose an eye.
No.
Somebody's gonna lose an eye.
No, you put on safety glasses. No shooting in the face, shooting in the chest.
I trust Ken's honor that if I hit him, he'll say that I hit him.
Yes.
And
But
we'll
we have to
witnesses,
say
too.
where, though. Like, we have to say where. Like, if it's a mortal wound or tis a flesh wound.
Oh, I know where I'm
Flesh
shooting.
wound, your arm was off. No, it's not.
I know where
Yes,
I'm
it is.
shooting
What's
for.
that? What? Oh, you're gonna
Goddamn right. Challenge me to a duel.
you're going for the Johnson.
He's the bearer, right?
No,
He's
man.
the bearer.
All right.
Jesus.
In that case,
What?
I get the mega gun over there. With
Okay.
the big darts.
That's
Ah.
fine. You get to choose the weapon.
All
It's,
right.
it's your duel, your challenge.
All right.
You can choose the weapon.
What do you
Yes,
say,
I have a
brother?
pair of gloves. You want me to slap you with a glove first?
Like the gauntlet. Yeah, if
Yeah.
if that makes you feel
We're gonna
better.
make it proper, right?
What do we say, brothers? Shut this
Shut
down.
it down and then let's shoot him up.
All right,
Going
sounds
down.
good. Now I would like to talk about Andrew Jackson at some point, but we'll come up with a different topic for next time. Maybe Andrew Jackson. Maybe we'll move something else. But
Yeah, we definitely got to
We'll come
go
up
through
with
his entire backstory. He's got an
Yeah.
interesting.
Find out
sordid
why
life.
he was so friggin' angry.
oh, I know he
Yeah.
was so angry. He was
Mommy issues.
yeah, a little bit British issues actually. But
Yeah.
anyway,
All right.
let's shut it down for the Freemasons podcast. I am Right Worship Brother George Mudry signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Before we
God
duel, I
bless.
have to pee.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's. Is that a normal
I
request?
got it on the audio. I'm totally leaving it.
That's great. That's fine.
We duel, I gotta pee.
I mean, nobody wants a messy duel.
Thank you all for tuning in. I hope
Yes.
you enjoyed.
Thank you, friends and brothers.
And we will catch you later.
If I survive.
Jesus.